Hello, tonight on Business Live, oil marketing companies start adjusting fuel prices downwards as GOIL drops prices for diesel and petrol by 34 pesos per litre. Also in this bulletin, Ghana Revenue Authority to prosecute 93 businesses for not issuing VAT invoices after it conducted a mystery shopping. We'll tell you more as the team storms some shops at the departure terminal of the Kotoka International Airport. Plus, Ghana Cedi expected to record gains against the dollar and other major foreign currencies this week as the progress of the IMF deal favorably impacts on the market.
There is no doubt that the rate will be coming down. The Cedi will be will be more powerful again than as we are seeing now, and therefore the rates will come down.
We've got details of these plus many more shortly. Please stay. Grateful for staying on. I am Pious Baka. Straight to our very first story. Fuel prices have started going down at the pumps in line with the fortnight review of prices of petroleum products. Oil marketing company GOIL has taken the lead in cutting prices of petrol and diesel at the pumps today, May 16. The following report has more.
This indigenous oil company GOIL is selling a liter of petrol at 12 cedis 30 pesos from the previous price of 12 cedis 64 pesos. It is also selling diesel at 12 cedis 30 pesos compared to the previous price of 12 cedis 64 pesos sold on the 1st of May 2023. By this, GOIL has reduced the prices of petrol and diesel by about 30%.
And we sincerely apologize for that poor quality of sound there. But thankfully, we've been joined via Zoom by the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, Duncan Amwa, for his perspective on this developing story. Grateful, Duncan, you could join me on Business Live. Now, how do you welcome the latest reduction? Does it reflect the true dynamics on the market?
Yes.
All right, so it seems we are having some challenges with Duncan Amwa. We shall reconnect to Duncan Amwa and get him back on stream to speak to us on this latest development we are witnessing at the downstream petroleum sector, where we do know that prices of petrol and diesel have started dropping, and we want to make sense out of that. As and when Duncan is on, we shall bring him on to speak to us on this latest development. Let me try once more and see if Duncan is back. Duncan, if you can hear me, I'm asking you to tell us what you make of this latest reduction and whether it truly reflects the dynamics on the market. Duncan, can you hear me? All right, so we shall go back to Duncan when we get his line fixed. But let's move on to some other stories. While longer on this, though, and the cost of living in the coming days could go down. This follows the announcement by transport operators of a 10% reduction in transport fares from this Wednesday. Prices of petroleum products are also expected to fall marginally at the pumps from today. Here is more.
Fuel and transport fares have been one of the major drivers of the general price levels of goods and services in the country, as well as the cost inputs for most items. Based on these developments, it is likely that in the coming weeks, prices of some goods on the market may be reduced. This may help to drive down the cost component of most businesses in the country, a development that may result in that benefit being passed on to consumers. The Ghana Cedi has also started making some strong gains against the US dollar on the market, a development that may help to reducing the cost of some items sold in the country. There are some who have argued that with Ghana now close to getting an IMF program, maybe the country is not getting onto that recovery path, which may lead to things stabilizing the economy.
All right, so I'm told that Duncan Namwa is back on the phone for us to have a better discussion on this. Duncan, earlier I was asking you to tell us what this latest reduction means to you, and really, does it really affect or reflect the true dynamics on the market?
Well, thank you for having me. The truth is that fuel prices could have been a bit lower than you currently have it if we had left everything to the market dynamics to dictate. As we speak, prices for finished products per metric ton over the window saw some very good declines, where petrol diesel did between some 3 and 5% across board. LPG did about 1% within the window. Again, you also have a situation where the local currency, the Cedi, did see some stability and gaining or appreciation. Is of the depreciation that we are probably quite used to in this part of the world. So if you put these two factors together with the amount of fuel supply you have in country, the expectation naturally was that you will do about 3 to 5% reduction. The numbers we have as of this morning from some of the major OMCs indicate about 3% across board for both petrol and diesel. And so it's beginning to look as though whatever upscale of taxes that was done with respect to the NPA announcement didn't really impact too much, although we could have probably seen a little more, maybe 50%, 60%. The market seemed to have done about 32% across board, and that is also quite significant.
I see. Now, we are learning that the Unified Petroleum Fund and the fuel marking margins on prices of petroleum products have also gone up by some significant amount effective today. Would prices have gone down even further if this really didn't happen?
Yes, indeed. Prices could have gone down further. But for these two additions that you are seeing on your price build-up, the UPPF, like you rightly indicated, moved from 47 to about 75. That's quite something. Again, you also have a situation where the fuel marking margin, FMM, has also seen some 125% adjustment to 9% per liter. The truth is that if these were not coming at this time, you could have gotten about 50-60% reduction every liter instead of the 32 that you are getting currently.
I see. So what is the outlook like for the rest of the quarter?
The signals we pick, the international market movement, is that between now and the start of June, prices are not likely to be bullish. You probably have the bearish sentiment continue. And so you are likely to have maybe a little more decline in international markets. Then again, you have a situation where Ghana is almost at the IMF table, hoping to, by end of week, get some money coming in. Once that happens, it is likely your local currency Cedi would also see some good performance over the next 2 weeks. And so, give or take, we are hoping that by the start of June, you might be able to get further reductions at the pumps. Although that cannot be assured as of now, but the indicators we would pick and the projections we can see is that you are likely to get further reductions at the start of June.
Great. So, Duncan, as we speak, transport operators have resolved to reduce fares by 10% effective tomorrow. Now, does this sit well, or could it have gone down further?
As a chamber that is concerned with consumers and commuters particularly, even though the GPRQ happens to be one of our biggest partners, when I was asked yesterday whether they should go down or stay, what I remember replying to them as a group is that if it helps their numbers and they can go down very well, because you would want cost of living generally to decline in country. And so if you've seen a situation where the previous increases or reductions in transport fares was when fuel prices were doing 15.3 at the pumps, and today you have most of the pumps doing about 12.3. That's some 3 Cedi Ghana per liter decline. And so a reduction is okay. As to whether it could have been more than the 10, I am sure that the drivers have been very kind and generous to all of us. It is welcoming, and I would personally want to commend the leadership of the driver union for this timely intervention to also ensure that cost of living, like we've always been advocating for, gets to decline so that inflationary pressures could decline and Ghanaians could breathe a little bit after such steep increases in prices over a sustained period.
All right, Duncan Amwa, we'll leave it here and continue subsequently. Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, speaking to us there. A while longer within the space, and Unified Petroleum Fund and fuel market margins on prices of petroleum products have gone up by some significant amount effective today. Well, this was after the National Petroleum Authority today in a letter directed the various players in the industry to increase these margins. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
This letter was sent to the various oil marketing companies, bulk oil distributors and other players. Anytime a liter of petroleum products was purchased by consumers, you paid 47 pesos as Unified Price Petroleum Fund. However, after this directive from the National Petroleum Authority, consumers from this morning be paying 28 pesos more on every liter purchased. Again, when it comes to the fuel market margin, consumers were paying 4 pesos as the margin. For May 16, 2023, the margin paid on each liter of petroleum product is 9 pesos. The National Petroleum Authority, in a letter seen by Joy Business, claims that the increase in the Unified Price Petroleum Fund is to ensure that freight rate for transporting of petroleum products to the various service stations in the country reflect the current economic conditions. This levy or fund is used by the National Petroleum Authority to keep prices across the country the same, irrespective of the location. The authority also claims that the fuel market is to ensure that the quality of petroleum products are not sacrificed. The development might affect the pricing of petroleum products going forward. This is because consumers might be paying more than what they should have paid from today. Some oil firms have indicated that we could have witnessed a higher margin of reduction in prices of petroleum products from today if it had not been this margin increase for some of the petroleum products. Some have also questioned the commitment of government in reducing prices of petroleum products at the pumps following the increase in these margins on petroleum products.
Let's now go to the currency market, because the Ghana Cedi is expected to record gains against the dollar and other major foreign currencies this week as the progress of the International Monetary Fund deal favorably impacts the market. That's the assertion by most analysts. There is more in this report.
It strengthened by 5.3% yesterday, the most since April 3 according to Bloomberg. It's actually gained 5.0 pesos to the American greenback, on the retail market to sell at 11 cedis, 90 pesos. The local currency traded sideways in the early part of last week, but managed to gain some stability following an announcement regarding debt relief by Ghana's external creditors, which is crucial for the country to receive approval from the board of the International Monetary Fund. The Cedi also benefited from the Bank of Ghana's foreign exchange support, resulting in a 0.21% week-on-week appreciation against the dollar. It also climbed 0.77% against the euro, but remained unchanged against the pound. If the trend continues, the local currency will reverse the losses experienced at the beginning of this year.
You're still watching Business Live. Still to come, Ghana Revenue Authority to prosecute 93 businesses for not issuing VAT invoices after it conducted a mystery shopping. We will tell you more as the team storms some shops at the departure terminal of the Kotoka International Airport after this break. Hello, welcome back. The Ghana Revenue Authority has been urged to develop unique techniques to ensure tax compliance by the informal sector to prevent a reoccurrence of the current economic crisis. Speaking on the side of a public financial management seminar, managing partner of Trust Consult, Charles Mensah, also urged the public to play their role as citizens by religiously filing their taxes.
To prevent it is making sure that the reports, when I say report, the financial reports, whatever findings are in there, are implemented to the letter. I think there should be commitment across board. I think we should also look at what we call the public good, which earlier on the Chief Director mentioned. The public good here means that, look, the things, the service that we are all enjoying has to be funded. And if you're always going to look at a situation where somebody else is funding it through a loan, or somebody is funding it through donations, or we call it donor funding, it will not help us. What we need is our own way of funding it, which is taxes. People should learn to pay taxes. People should learn to collect receipts. People don't know sometimes that every April ending for the following year, you must file and pay your tax returns. Yet their cousins abroad, they file it religiously. Their aunties file it religiously because they are using the taxes for schools and things. Here, unless the person needs a service that they require, that go and bring tax clearance certificate before you file the tax return. But it's a commitment. We should have a situation where we have cars going to the market end of the year to help the market women complete the tax returns. I've experienced it in South Africa, where the SR cars, the South Africa Revenue Authority, SRA cars, move in there and help them to complete. But here, we don't see it. So we should break it down to everybody. Maybe involve some informal sector, just like we had the Blue Police. Blue Police, I'm referring to the commercial drivers, their taxes, their levies. They were sending people to go and collect it, and they were stopping the tax and acts. Maybe similar one should be not to stop, but then to go to the market and interact with the market women and help them complete their simple one-page tax returns. That's all.
More on revenue-related stories. The enforcement unit of the Ghana Revenue Authority is on the move to prosecute some 93 shops and business owners for failing to issue VAT invoices for goods sold. The exercise is expected to help the GRA mobilize revenue for the state, as well as aiding in meeting its revenue target. Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Division at the GRA, Edward Jambra, addressed the media before the exercise. The following report has more.
The 93 culprits were identified after they failed to issue the invoice in a text purchase exercise conducted by the investigation team of the Ghana Revenue Authority. According to Commissioner of Domestic Tax Division, Edward Jamra, the exercise will continue until all the 93 are arrested and made to face the law.
What we're going to do with this exercise that we have done is that we are going to arrest all these taxpayers who fail to comply, who fail to issue the required invoices, will be arrested and prosecuted, and they will be dealt with in line with the provisions of our tax law. The exercise we are embarking on today and in the coming weeks will focus on these businesses that fail to issue the invoices to their customers. at the point of sale.
Managers of Cedi, Wave Lounge in East Legon and Grand Pacific at Jolo Junction were also arrested. They will help with investigation and face possible prosecution. Here is head of the Accra Area Enforcement Unit of the GRA, Joseph Annan.
We continue to Cedi. You were there with us. The infraction is that they are not registered, right? They are not registered. The owner tells us she's in the process. But the issue is that we are working with Section 41 of the Act, which makes it an offense not to issue the invoice. And that they failed to do so. So obviously, they have committed an offense for which they have been arrested. From there, we went to WIPS. Same offense. So they are registered. They are doing selective issuance of the invoice because we saw some of our invoices there. And yet, we went in there and they failed the test. So we have picked somebody from there, the manager, to be questioned by the CID. And then from Waves, we came to Grand Pacific. And the offense is the same. They are not issuing the invoice. So we have picked an employee. We've picked up an employee to be questioned by the CID so that his statement will be taken.
At the Airport Terminal 3 departure, the team was prevented entry to arrest some 10 shop owners who failed to issue invoices.
Now, the executive chairman of the Multichoice Group, Imtiaz Patel, has indicated that the multi-platform pay TV operator has contributed significantly to Ghana's GDP and has helped reduce the unemployment situation in the country by offering employment to the youth of the country over the years. According to him, the company has employed over 4,000 people in Ghana. He was speaking at the launch of the company's 30th anniversary celebration.
Choice Ghana, owner of satellite stations DSTV, Showmax and Goat TV, has launched its 30th anniversary celebration. The company has over the years given Ghanaians a good television viewing experience. Speaking at the launch of its 30th anniversary, Executive Chairman of the Multichoice Group, Imtiaz Patel, said the company has contributed immensely to Ghana's GDP and it will continue to do so in the coming years.
Since inception 30 years ago, Multichoice has cumulatively invested about $1.3 billion in Ghana. This figure is an aggregate contribution comprising $44 million annually to the GDP of Ghana. Our local tax and regulatory contributions amount to about $15.8 million per annum, with an additional $22 million in content spend. On the job creation side, the popular Aquaba Magic Channel has added 1,500 jobs in our commissioning and licensing value chain, adding a total of $2.7 million annual value to the local creative industry. Overall, our employment contribution exceeds 4,000 people with a much broader beneficiary matrix.
Chairman of Multichoice Ghana, Richard Darko, reiterated the company's commitment to providing content and services to meet the needs and demands of customers.
As we reflect on our journey, we acknowledge the role of our customers. They are central to us and they played a major part of our success. We are grateful for your loyalty and trust in us over the years. You have motivated us to keep improving and delivering the best possible service. We commit to continue to provide you with quality content and innovative services that meet your needs and exceed your expectations. We're also thankful for the partnerships we've built with local content providers, creators, and talents. Your contributions have enriched our platform and allowed us to showcase the best of Ghana to the world.
Multichoice currently contributes $1.3 billion to Ghana's GDP.
Thanks so much for watching Business Live. I am Pious Kojobaka. You can always get business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.